If I could only pick one virtue to encourage people to practice and to grow in, it would probably be the area of self control. And that's our focus for this week. I want to throw a big term at you that has become an important one in my life. The term would be self differentiation, to be able to differentiate yourself in any given situation. What I really mean by that is that this is kind of the ability to be present in a room or in a situation or a conversation, and you're there and you're an active participant, but at the same time you have this awareness of the bigger picture and the part you're supposed to be playing within that bigger picture. So let's say, for example, I'm in a situation where someone is feeling concerned and anxious and stressed out. On the one hand, my inclination might be that I feel what they're feeling. I feel empathy for them, and my tendency might even be to feel and exhibit the same anxiety, the same concern. But then if I were to self differentiate, again, using that big term, if I were to take a step back and look at myself in the situation, I might be able to say, well, even though in that moment Mark is feeling anxious because Mark is this person's minister, because Mark is a leader in the sphere of influence that this person runs in this moment, even though I might be feeling one thing, I see the need to have a different kind of presence in that situation. And I think in almost every situation, the best kind of presence you could offer would be a presence that is non-anxious, that we don't get so bogged up down in the immediate situation or in our emotions that we kind of lose sight of who it is that we're supposed to be. Very often when we struggle with self-control, there's some component that kind of comes out of our emotions. Most people, in fact, really all people, no matter what we might like to say about how we're logical people or we're driven by our thinking, no one really is. Everyone is driven by our emotions and our gut instincts and our reactions. Some of us are especially good after the fact at using, our reasoning to try and justify what it is that we do. But getting in touch with how we're feeling, but also learning to acknowledge that just because I feel inclined towards a certain thing, I have emotions, but I don't have to become my emotions. Even though I might feel an urge or a temptation, I feel that urge, I acknowledge that urge. It doesn't mean that I have to follow up on it. Because after all, even Jesus himself was tempted. And when it says Jesus was tempted just as we are, I don't take that to be an empty gesture that he was just playing pretend. But no, Jesus also had things that tempted him. And so we feel things that maybe drive us towards certain courses of action. But self-control is being able to look at things for what they are, to look at the kind of presence that I'm supposed to have in my family, in my church family, around the office, in any given situation where I am. It's having that ability to take a step back and look at myself and choose wisely what kind of person I'm going to be in any given scenario. Maybe that'll give you something to think about this week as we reflect together some on the value of self-control. It's a great virtue.